Hello there viewers, and welcome back to another video today here on Gr.4 Sports. So today you join us for round 4 of the Group 4 80 mile series here in the Medway Racing League. And well, as you can see on the screen, we are at another unusual circuit. So last week we were racing around Northern Isle Speedway, the oval circuit, the proper meme track that is. And this week we are around Kyoto Miyabi, another kind of meme circuit, more of a go-kart track really than a race circuit. And yeah, we are at this very unusual track today. Qualifying is just beginning. We've got Scott Robson in front of us waiting for qualifying to begin, and this was my first time ever organising an event, and yes, it was interesting organising this. Had a lot of pressure on me, a lot of weight on my shoulders. Didn't go particularly well. I mean, it went alright, but I mean, some people didn't turn up, which wasn't helpful, and yeah, it was alright. So we are here then at Miyabi, starting the first lap of qualifying. Really long right-hander here. You want to take a little bit of a late apex through there, quite easy to get disorientated through that corner though. It's kind of a very long corner, all looks pretty similar, and you can use the trees on the right as a reference, but yeah, it can be quite disorientating. Go flat out for the S's, made a bit of a hash of that there, kind of missed my apex through the second part, and went off into the grass, and then through this hairpin here. Only braking zone in the circuit really, only place where you need to put your foot onto the brake pedal, and then coming through this final chicane, should be flat out if you don't get it completely wrong, and carrying up to the start finish line. We've got Dimitar right behind us, who's actually just gone very fast and done a 39.2, really quick lap there. We only managed to do a 40.0 for example, so Dimitar did a superb lap there in our slipstream on the first lap of qualifying. Coming out of turn 1 now, we are 2 tenths down, didn't take it turn 1 at all well there. It was a really bad job of that, missed our apex completely, and then we did at least manage to take the S's flat out that time round, and then through into the hairpin. Got Scott in front of us. We are now in his slipstream range, which is good. It's going to give us a few tenths advantage over the course of each lap, and coming through the chicane now, made a hash of that completely, missed my apex through the left-hander, had to lift off, so that really not a very good lap, and as a result only did a 39.7. remember Dimitar did a 39.2, so yeah, not too good a lap. Coming through turn 1 again now for our third lap of qualifying. Scott is kind of in the way, and yeah, that has compromised us there coming out of turn 1, but we still are a tenth up on our previous lap because well, our last lap was so bad. Coming through the S's again, managed to take it flat out, and then coming in to the hairpin, we are what, 2/3 of a tenth up on our personal best. Still not good enough to be honest, but should at least be some sort of improvement. Managed to take the final chicane flat out this time round, and we're going to come up to the line, taking the shortest line possible up to the start finish line, and that's going to be a 39.5. so again, still not great, but still a decent lap. Put us into P2, so yeah, not bad at all. Now what you'll notice on the left hand side is my name has changed. Now I haven't changed the name of my main account. What I have instead done is I've resurrected my second account, which used to be my dad's account, renamed it to MRL Battersby, and that is now the account that I'll be using for all future MRL races. So yeah, any races in the future in the Medway Racing League will be using my MRL Battersby account, and also possibly esports races in the future. We'll also use that name. Basically, it looks a lot more professional, the Batters Race Co. It makes me look better than I really am, to be honest. It makes me look like an esports driver. So, yeah, going to be using that account from now on. Also for this race, I fiddled about my rig, which... do I regret it? Yeah, maybe, because, well, I came into this race, hadn't tried the rig, I'd fiddled about with it and not tried it, and yeah, I struggled. That's safe to say, and yeah, didn't do much practice for this race, like I say as well. Also didn't have the rig set up properly. Basically, the brake pedal, I was releasing the brake pedal and it wasn't releasing in game. I needed to recalibrate the pedals basically, and I also didn't build a dead zone into my pedals, which meant that as I was going along, I was pressing the brake pedal on the straights, and going into the corners, I was pressing the throttle because I forgot to put a dead zone in. So really didn't go well here. Force feedback as well was completely different to what I previously had, so I was really struggling in this race just to drive basically. Everything felt so foreign and so weird. But you're coming out the pits then. Half a minute to go of qualifying. We're in the slipstream of Fun Anywhere in front of us. Can we use his slipstream to set a good lap time? Scott's just exited the pits, rather in the way unfortunately. There wasn't all that much you could do. It's a bit of a stupid pit exit there. Just fires you straight out onto the racing line, and yeah, not all that much that you can do. We are half a tenth down on our personal best as we come out of the first corner. Then try and take this section flat out. We missed our apex completely, and Fun Anywhere has also had made a right mess of that SS, so that wasn't particularly good. We are slightly up though on our personal best. Haven't taken that hairpin well at all either. This lap is really rather poor. It's really very bad. And coming out of this final chicane, then coming up to start finish line to take the checker flag. Are we going to be able to improve? No, we are not. So it's going to put us in P3 then at the end of qualifying, more than a third of a second off of Dimitar in the Megane Trophy. So he did a really good lap there with that first lap of qualifying in my slipstream to do a 39.2. He did really, really well. Also got Neil Moore in front of us, who is a gold driver, not a diamond driver. You don't normally see him in our Monday League videos. Did a really good job in the Alfa Romeo 4C, which is a twitchy death trap. So qualified P2, did superb. Moving ahead then to the race itself, like I say, you got yourself starting in P3. Strategy for this race, you can either do the one stop or the two stop. Issue with doing the one stop is tyre wear. So this track, it is absolutely brutal on the front left tyre. It is just horrendous on tyre wear this circuit. It's really, really difficult to get your tyres to half race distance without them completely falling off of a cliff. But yeah, the race is now getting underway. Got Neil in front in that 4C, which is a very difficult car to drive. I think it is a little bit easier to drive now. Now it's had a BOP update. I think the car is a little bit more manageable, but it's still a very tricky car to drive, as you will see in front. Already caught Neil up here, and we're going to give him a bit of a bump draft into the S's. Yeah, he didn't take turn one too well there. I think he was a little bit nervous at the start of the race. Didn't take it to full speed. Didn't have the bravery. Coming into the hairpin then first time this lap, Neil's already having troubles with that Alfa Romeo 4C. He's lost the back in there through the hairpin, and Dimitar in front, he has gone off the circuit and he is crashed out of the lead on lap 1 of the race. And well, I watched his onboard back afterwards and I have no idea how that happened. He was just driving along happily, took a bit of curb, and well, round he went. He just all of a sudden got spat off to the left. Clearly that curb didn't like him, and yeah, off he went into the wall. So that is Dimitar now all the way down in last position as he has to recover from that crash. You can see him on the track map. He's last, and by some margin as well. So he is miles behind us now as we're going to send it up the inside of Neil Moore on lap 2 of the race. Neil was struggling at the start of this race. I think he was struggling with the 4C. So yeah, just sent it up his inside. He didn't fight it either. I think he just realised, just let me past and yeah, sit in my slipstream. Neil's actually tumbled down to P4. So, well, that was a very good lap for us there. We had Dimitar crash out at the end of lap 1, and then during lap 2 we not only got past Neil Moore, but he also fell down to 4th place. So we are licking our lips right now. Yeah, the win is very much on the cards here. We've also broken the slipstream to Fun anywhere behind, so things are looking great right now. Starting P3, we're on lap 3 now. We're not only in the lead, but we've broken the slipstream to the guys behind as well. So things are very much looking good. 15 laps later, we have managed to pull away from the guys behind, so we are now 2.7 seconds away from the pack behind us. But Neil has managed to make his way back up into P2 in the Alfa Romeo 4C, so we have got him to look out for. Remember, he did out-qualify us, and well, he did in all honesty have more pace than us, so we do need to watch out for him over the course of this race. Back markers, very much an issue around this circuit. You can see in front we've got Kevin Mayers already coming around to lap him, and we've already lapped another driver. So yeah, back markers very much are an issue. This circuit is only a 40-second lap, so you do catch up back markers pretty damn quickly. Neil's already managed to get the gap down from 2.7 seconds to 2.1. So yeah, we've really got to look out for him here. He has got very good pace, especially in that 4C. That 4C has amazing front end grip, like it's epic through the corners, but it is also very difficult to drive. Got no straight line speed, and it's not good on its tyre wear either. It's really bad on its rear tyres, so do need to watch out for Neil. Then he's got the gap already down to 1.9 seconds. Going on board with Neil now, on board with his live stream. If you have a look at the tyre wear, he's got such less tyre wear compared to us on the front left. So as we switch back to us, if you have a look at our front left, we've got what, nearly half worn, so nearly half of that front left tyre is red, whereas if we switch back to Neil, he's only got about a quarter tyre wear on the front left, and actually his front and rear left tyre is equal with the tyre wear, whereas with our car we've got a heck of a lot more tyre wear on our front left than on our rear left. So yeah, tyre wear, he's done a lot better job than us. One lap later, and Neil's already got the gap down to what, less than a second, so he's really reeling us in at a right rate of knots. So what we're going to do here gonna pull into the pit lane. I could see how much he was gaining on me. It was never gonna work. I was never gonna be able to beat him if I just tried doing the one stop. It was inevitable that he was just gonna come flying past me around the next corner and yeah, mug me off completely, beat me by miles. So pulling into the pits in to put a new set of super soft tyres. Also just gonna put 60% of the tank in so that we can do another third of the race and get to about lap 44. So coming out of the pits in, we are in P8 and we are what, 20 seconds behind the leader. So yeah, got to make that 20 seconds back up because like Neil, we still got to stop again. 2 laps later and we've now got Irish Tony in front of us. We are as such fighting for position because he has not pitted yet, and well, he's very kindly going to not only move out of the way but pretty much have a crash. I think he was trying to let me pass. I don't think he did that all by himself. I think he was trying to let me pass, but well, he moved very much out of the way, so it's very kind of you, Tony. You didn't need to move out of the way at all, really. You were, at the end of the day, you were fighting me for position. You weren't a backmarker at this point in time. Over the course of the next 10 laps, I did manage to eat away at the gap to Neil in front of us, so got the gap now down to 13.3 seconds, but to be honest, that's kind of not really enough. So we've got Neil pulling into the pits now on lap 34 of the race. Still got 7% of the tank left. He did really well in this race, Neil, with his strategy. Did really well on his tyres and really well on his fuel. So yeah, pulling into the pits, he was 13 seconds in front of us. Need to see what the gap is now when he pulls out the pits, because remember, we also need to make another stop ourselves, so we've really got to catch up Neil some more. Got to put some more ground on him if we want to be able to beat him in this race. Also got to think about Dimitar. So Dimitar's pulling into the pits as well with 8% of a tank left. He's recovering, remember, having had that crash at the start of the race. So we're trying to, well, we're going to need to catch him up as well, as he's only making one stop as well. And Neil has exited the pits now 20.8 seconds behind us. So the gap between me and Neil is the same as it was between me and him, but the other way around, if you know what I mean. I was 20 seconds behind when I came out of the pits. He's now come out of the pits 20 seconds behind us. So that's not enough really, because Neil has filled the tank, whereas when we pitted, we only put 20% of a tanking. So yeah, it's not looking too good. We've got to put some good laps in here. Moving ahead then to lap 43 of the race, where we've got Neil, who's now 17.5 seconds behind us, so he's managed to reel us in by about 3 seconds over the course of the last, what, 7 or 8 laps. Pulling into the pits now because, well, we're pretty much run out of fuel, so we've only got 0.2 laps of fuel remaining, and our front left tyre again not looking too pretty, so it's already half worn after only about 17 laps, so it really is killing the tyres, this circuit, as yeah, we're going to put another new set of super soft tyres on so that we can then go to the end of the race. Going to put about 70% of the tanking, try not to make the same mistake as last time and try and put enough fuel in this time to get to the end of the race. So coming out of the pit lane then, as the pit crew release us, where are we going to be? We are in P5. So we're in 5th place and we are, what, 13 seconds off of the lead then. We're 23, 24 laps of the race remaining, so we're going to have to make some time up here, because remember, no one is going to pit again. Everyone else is doing the one stop, so we're going to have to make up those 13 seconds now. 2 laps later and we've got the 2 cars in front of us. They are fighting for position, and accidentally Mike Bisham is going to swipe Fun Anywhere off the circuit. Mike said afterwards he had no idea that Fun Anywhere was there. He was too busy looking at his fuel, had no idea he had a car alongside him, and accidentally wiped Fun Anywhere out of the lead. So that is handing us P4, and we've got Mike in front of us now in 3rd place. Are we going to be able to overtake him as well? Yes, we are. So coming out of that final chicane there, managing to get a run on him. We are alongside him now as we come across the start-finish line. We should be able to make this move stick then into turn 1. We are on the inside, and yes, we are indeed, as Mike pulls out of it. So yeah, now into P3. We've got Dimitar in front of us, remember, recovering from his crash at the start of the race, and he's now 2.2 seconds in front of us. Both of us are going to the end of the race, but Dimitar, he's on soft tyres, whereas we are on super softs, and our tyres are a lot fresher, so we have certainly got the tyre advantage over him. We unfortunately though weren't really able to put our tyre advantage to good use because, well, as you can see now, we're on lap 55 of the race and the gap to Dimitar's barely changed. It's what, 1.8 seconds now, and coming through the S's we're going to make a bit of a mistake as we run wide coming out of the S's off onto the grass, and not only has that lost us time, but it's also given us dirty tyres. So we've now made a complete hash of the hairpin there, lost ourselves a good few tenths of a second, and coming through the S's now, coming through the final chicane, sorry, again made a mistake, run wide, frustrated just because we got dirty tyres and we've actually picked ourselves up a half-second penalty. So really not driving well here. To be honest, I was getting frustrated with myself that I wasn't catching Dimitar up. I know I should have been catching him, but I barely was, and I was just getting more and more frustrated, pushing more and more and more, and that led to me making mistakes and coming through these S's now once more. So we're going to check it in, we're going to cut the corner a little bit too much, and that's going to fire us off onto the grass once more. So 2 laps in a row now, we've made a right hash of that S's section and the resulting hairpins. This is really not going well. Made a complete hash of the exit of the hairpin there as well, and we've had to lift off massively for this final chicane because we've got dirty tyres. So these last few laps have been complete rubbish, as that lap was a 41.4. That was terrible. If you have a look at the lap times on the right, we had at least been doing consistent lap times. They weren't great times, but they were at least consistent. We were doing consistent 39-second lap times. But these last 2 laps have been completely dire with a 40.3 and a 41.4. We've pretty much lost all hope now of catching Dimitar, and especially all hope of catching Neil Moore as we again go onto the grass coming out of that SD section. This has really been a right disaster. We're now 4 seconds behind Dimitar, with the gap having only been 1.8 seconds a couple of laps ago. So this really has not gone well. Over the course of the next 10 laps, to be honest, the gap just increased even more, as the gap is now 5.7 seconds to Dimitar in front of us. But I am going to do a track guide now for the final lap of the race. So coming into turn 1, you want to be lifting off just after the curb ends on the left hand side, and then just rolling the car into this corner, no braking, just rolling it in, and then accelerating just after a tree on the right hand side of the circuit. Coming down into the S's then, you should be able to take it flat out if you get it right, but well, we've got quite old tyres now, so just had to lift slightly there through the S's. Braking now for the hairpin just as the tarmac starts on the left hand side, that the red painted tarmac, and then accelerate out the hairpin, getting over to the right for this final chicane. You should be able to set that easy flat out. Try not to touch the grass because it will give you dirty tyres. And then coming out this final corner, then up to the start finish line, we're going to come across the line in P3. 11 seconds behind Neil Moore. To be honest, I probably should have used the 4C for this race, and I probably should have done the one stop. Just when the race started, or in fact as soon as qualifying started, I kind of realised, yeah, the 4C, that's a thing, isn't it? Didn't think about that. I forgot all about the 4C and the BAP update that had happened just before this, and yeah, kind of regretted not using that 4C. Congratulations to Neil Moore on the victory. That was a really, really good drive from a gold driver. He's not a diamond driver, he's a gold licensed driver. So did a superb job there to win the race ahead of Dimitar and myself, and yeah, you got Super Vado coming home in P4. Scott Robson in 5th, Mike Bisham in 6th, you got Tony McMullen in P7, Richard Dicky Davey in 8th, you got Matt Carslake in 9th, Ben Evans in 10th, Kevin Mayers in 11th place, Johnny Clark in 12th, and then you've got the rookie Starstock Zombie in 13th position. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching that video. It's certainly a different circuit. So you don't normally see Group 4 cars, or any racing cars for that matter, racing around Kyoto Miyabi. Next up, we are going to have highlights from the Group 3 Sprint Series, which is a new series which I myself have set up. I've set it up myself, as I am now the organiser and creator of that series. So yeah, next video is going to be highlights from the test event from that series. So I hope you guys are looking forward to that. So like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I'll see you all then. So goodbye.